What are the unicorn years? Comparing housing market statistics in any market is going to be very challenging because generally what you do is you compare it to the year before. Unfortunately, this year, comparing this year to the years before is very difficult because in the years before we had what we call now unicorn years. Those are years during the COVID time that the government got involved and started interfering with the regular housing market. One interference was to make sure that the interest rates stayed very low. The other interference was to make sure that there were no foreclosures during that time and forcing people to work from home. So it's a very different market comparing 2020, 2021, 2022 to 2023. Comparing it to this year, in the past couple of years, it's just a tough market to compare it to because all of the statistics are changed. So what I'm going to try to do right now is I'm going to try to show you how our market today is much like the normal market that we were experiencing prior to the unicorn years. The first comparison I want to give you is showing traffic. While lower than last couple of years, buyer activity is still stronger than pre-unicorn years. Homes are being shown at a high rate. There's still a lot of buyers in the market, not compared to the unicorn years. But what do you think that the media is going to focus on? They're going to say that showing traffic is lower than last year. Of course it is. It was a unicorn year. The next thing we're going to talk about is appreciation. Now understand something. During the unicorn years, appreciation was incredible, right? There was a lot of activity. The interest rates were very low and there was very few houses on the market. So when there's a lot of demand and everybody qualifies, you're going to start to see rapid price improvements. And home prices are not crashing, but what is happening is that we are returning more to a normal appreciation. So last year we had 18% appreciation. The year before that we had 11% appreciation across the nation. This year we're looking at about 5% appreciation. But understand something, prior to the unicorn years, we were averaging between 4 and 6% appreciation. The next thing we want to talk about is foreclosures. Of course, the media is going to tell us that foreclosures are on their way up. But what they're not going to tell you is that the government ordered a suppression of all foreclosures during the unicorn years. During COVID, no banks were allowed to foreclose. So foreclosures went way down. Now that banks are allowed to foreclose again, of course, foreclosures are going to go up. So while rising, foreclosure filings are still overall low and there's no flood of foreclosures today. Expect unsettling housing market headlines, mostly due to unfair comparisons with the unicorn years. Let's connect so you get the data that puts the headlines into the correct perspective.